If you're looking at improving your smoking game, when I say that, I don't mean cigarettes or herbs. In this episode,
Sorry, I should not be laughing.
if you are looking at improving your smoking game, and when I say smoking, I don't mean cigarettes or herbs, then stick around because you're going to learn an awful lot from our very good friend, Adam, famously known as the Aussie Smoker.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, man. Better for being here, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, we welcome you and all the viewers, and yeah, welcome to Penryn. We're here to have everyone smile. That's the main thing. So we do smiles and happen to do barbecue food.
Thank you very much, mate. Just get cracking.
Yeah, let's roll on.
Easy.
Righto, so this is the Aussie Smoker Barbecue HQ. I want to start you on this side. We have imported our Aussie favourites. Bundaberg ginger beer, Solo, the thirst crusher, and the ever popular Passiona, real tropical passion fruit in a can. Yo, absolutely love it. Got to look at these bad boys. Delicious. That's our brand new candle. Now, this space has actually been designed for families. Down here you've got chalk paint for the kiddos, even some adults. If you want to be doing your homework, a little bit of algebra or trigonometry, then you come to the fun part. So Friday, Saturday lunch, we use this section. It's our prep area. Come meet our smoker. So come with me. We're going to show you what's inside the smoker. Let's have a look in here. Absolutely glorious.
It's not going down like conspiracy theories.
Spin it off.
Right, I'm now going to leave it to these guys to give you a bit of a masterclass in barbecuing and smoking.
Righto, guys. So we've got Chef James here, Chef Spargo. He's going to be there with the sweet old knife skills. We've got a beautiful British pork belly here. So the first thing James actually did before we went on camera is he took a chucks, he dried it off. Now, J-cloth. Oh yeah, Aussie and UK, right? Dried it off. It makes it safer to handle. You could use a J-cloth also when you start pulling back the skin. It just keeps things nice and safe. What he's going to do now is flip it over. It's going to show you. Actually, if you tap it, yeah. So you've got the ribs here. Right, and then you've got the belly just over here as well. Now a lot of places, what they do is they just come under the bone, whip off the ribs with the meat on it. And essentially you're losing so much valuable meat in there. What James is going to do now is he's going to show you guys how to actually debone the ribs and the cartilage from the actual belly itself. This is a skill. So as you can see, he's got a fantastic knife in his hand. Ooh, look at that. Right, now the belly itself, as with most of the muscles, has special lines in between it where the connection is. If you just follow the line, you're going to be able to pull the muscle away from the other muscle, layman's terms, and then be able to get in behind where you need to. Right, while he's doing that, I'm going to let you know. So, we only use two main ingredients. That's a lie. Two main things. Salt. We just use your normal kind of salt that we've got here. In America, do you want me to come in closer to that? Look at this. Okay. I like this kind of salt because it's very readily purchasable. In America, they'll use something called kosher salt, which is a bit more coarse and less coarse than, say, sea salt. What I like about this is you get a real great even distribution. So if you're at home trying to do smoked barbecue, this works. Now, actually, that's a really cool one. So if you see how far back he's come, these ribs have cartilage that connects all the way through. So if you even think of us, we've got the same sort of line. So now we've pulled that flap of muscle back. He's going to get underneath that, and then he's going to start deboning from there. Okay, so we've got the even distribution of the salt. We use the Aussie Smoker Barbecue Rub. You can find these in some of your greatest places around town or on our website. So what he's done here is he's scored the bones. He's going to pull off the sinew, the tough pieces, so he can actually get under and take the bones out. Back to the rub. So in this rub, we use smoked paprika, cumin, coriander, garlic, and pepper. There is no salt or sugar in the rub itself. The reason being, when you're There's so many, sorry chef, almost
It's getting in my way.
Yeah. There's so many barbecue rubs, steak rubs, fish rubs, you name it. They've got salt and sugar in there, and you use it once, and you go back a month later, and it's clumped up. Unfortunately, it's the moisture gets absorbed in by the salt and sugar. So we don't add any in ours. So you've got essentially a seasoning, a rub, a spice mix that you can flavor yourself and to have your taste. So if you like your pork a bit saltier, add more salt. If you're doing it on a steak, add some really good sea salt. Veggies love a bit of sugar as well. The other thing that's very important with the smoking is the wood that you're using. This here, I'm going to step away from that table. This here, if you can hear it, right, very dry. All right, especially in this lovely English Cornish weather we've had recently where it's so wet. There you go, you can hear that, right? Like 2 tapping sticks. So this has been kiln dried first, and then it's been seasoned in our dry stores for about 2 years to really make sure the moisture is out of it. You've just got to be careful that even with kiln dried wood, that the inside of it is not still too damp and dense, otherwise you won't get a nice clean burn. So what I mean by clean burn, a clean burn is where there's enough oxygen that actually goes through. The energy that is kept up inside the wood itself can burn really nicely. At a low temperature, then you see all that smoke, right? Not the thin blue smoke that you're looking for in smoking, but you see dark grey smoke. That is impurities that is in the smoke. Now, if you have that, you are not smoking, you're just putting it on your meat. Sorry, didn't mean to say sure. You're putting terrible flavors that hasn't been burnt off. So you want to go a bit hotter. So we run at about 120 degrees Celsius, 125. Those impurities have burnt off it straight away, and the smoke is very clean and clear. Actually, if you want to pop around, so we're using a beautiful piece of kit called a Southern Pride. You can see here, right, there's barely any smoke coming off that. Now there actually is smoke, the smoke in the flavor, it's there, but it's not a dirty smoke, right? We've got our flue, takes it out, thank you very much. Our neighbors love us, they're hungry all the time. Beauty, so what he's doing, he's really going straight under those bones, getting up to that cartilage section. Beautiful. All that meat is staying on the belly itself. So when we do our bellies, not only, beautiful, do you see that? Clean, crisp. That rib meat is still there. Now this takes practice, and for a home chef, maybe, or home barbecuer, maybe you go, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna cook belly and ribs separately. You've got 2 different. For us, we love giving people extra meat, so we take it off, get right under there. That's fantastic, good job, mate. He doesn't like compliments. Good boy, James. And then once he's done that, we'll hit it with the salt, hit it with the rub. We often add a bit of water as our binder, so that way the rub sticks to it. Now, a binder, that's a really good one. That's a good one. In barbecuing, most barbecuers will use a mustard, a sauce, some form of lather to have the rub itself stick to the meat. Because we're in catering, we go through thousands of kilos of meat weekly, and we don't necessarily know who our end consumer is. Are they allergic to mustard? Do they know they're allergic to mustard? So we don't use it. So we just use plain old water with the salt, with the rub. Now we've had to work on certain techniques to go, do we brine that as in an overnight sit? It's not a wet brine where it's sitting in water and there's a transference of that flavor through a semi-permeable membrane called osmosis. Way, that's science barbecue nerd action coming out. Welcome to Science Barbecue Nerd TV. But by having it sit overnight, we're getting a little bit of movement, that flavor from inside to outside the meat, the moisture is moving in and out. And then before we put it in the next day, that belly back into the smoke or into the smoker from the fridge, we give it another little spritz because it will have dried out slightly in the fridge. And it just keeps it moist before it gets hit by the temperatures in there. A very important part to smoking is making sure you're actually reintroducing moisture onto the meat. Now, you don't want to do it too early because you won't form a bark. We've had pork collars just up from here, been in, good let's say 2-3 hours, so we can start reintroducing the moisture. Also, our rub does draw out a lot of the moisture the way that we do it. We don't have the binder with the mustard forming a seal, we use the water, so we need to be a bit more liberal with water, so we say. So let's open this guy up. Beautiful. So you can start seeing here, it's quite crusty, so that can actually turn into a burnt bit if we're not too careful. So we're going to hit it with a bit of the moisture. Now it's important, they actually do this quite quickly. There's a saying, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. You can see straight away that steam coming off it. Fortunately, I've got my good old foot pedal here. Now, I'm going to go underneath as well. You want to make sure it's all lovely and dripping. Some barbecue joints in America and other places, they use something called a mop. So they use a flavored mop. They literally use a mop to and mop it on. Whereas we're just using, again, our water. We've got lots of flavor here. We've got lots of seasoning on there. That's going to carry through. And we just feel if you add any other flavors to it in our style, it just doesn't really take on the flavor because we've got so much with the rub itself. If you use a different rub, or you're just going basic salt and pepper, you could use orange juice, apple juice, cider vinegar. The other thing we find is if you use anything with too much sugar in it, you're just making it even harder to clean your barbecue. So this will be good now for the next hour or so. Yeah, beautiful. Happy days. We're going to close her up. Fantastic. So, to recap, if you have your own, say you're using a Weber, a Smoky Mountain, just something else, you want to keep an eye on it. You don't want that lid open, too much, right? If you're looking, you ain't cooking. So, a quick spritz, a quick mop if you want to try it, lid straight back on, get that temperature back to the 120, 125 and have it sitting nicely. Go grab yourself a beer or beverage of your choice and sit back and relax. Righto, so James here has deboned the first little bones from the ribs. He's now come through very carefully. This is the final part. Wait for it, and look how beautiful this is. Look at that. That is so clean. There is barely anything left on there. And you have a look at what we've left on the actual belly itself. You've got all that beautiful rib meat. So that's the love and care and attention that we give to every dish for each one of our customers that then go and enjoy it. So here's what we're going to do. Little spritzer there. Now, they always say from height, right? What we've got is very even coverage of that salt now. If you had salt that was too thick or too crunchy or too big, you'd have patchy bits of salt. So this is a beautiful even coverage. Just try not to tip it, right? What we do, so when we leave it in the fridge overnight, it starts drawing out that moisture. What we're going to do here, we're going to add just a tiny spritz of extra moisture for now, right? Just because we've got our rub. Okay, we're going to give this a nice little dusting. Too thick and it stops the smoke from penetrating. Too little and we just don't have enough. Now it's very important. James is going to go around. He's going to get all those edges. All right, now there's another trick we do. Say, James, if you just pop your hand. Actually, I'll just do it. So, there's a little tips and tricks with the Aussie Smoker. So if you get your dry hand, put it on the angle, you watch this, it bounces. Look at that. Straight down the side. Oi! Now you can rub it in. I like to have it sit on top like that. Give it another little spritzer. If you speak to, say, Franklin's, you don't speak to Franklin, but he says don't put the rub too far under meat itself. You won't be able to, it won't cook out. Yeah. We do it. We just find a bit more flavor by adding the moisture like this. You know, you're not having dry bits of rub. We got flavor. Yeah. Flavor. Now we haven't done the other side. The other side has the skin on it. We do take the layer of skin off and score the fat. That's great flavor, but that is the essence. That's it. That goes straight in the smoker. What we have here, this is a finished product. It is Australian topside. Chef over here has taken all the muscles apart, taken the sinew off. We've hit it with just some salt, pepper, and beef tallow, and gone outside using our beautiful Weber, lots of Cornish oak and lots of heat. We've charred the outside, hot and fast. The inside was totally raw. We've put it now in a special bath of smoked beef tallow. So we've taken all the offcuts of beef, whacked that into the smoker, let the smoke do its thing, let the fat render out. The beef fat is so good for you. And then we've taken this raw piece of meat that's been charred on the outside and bathed it for about 4 hours at about 160 to 100 degrees and reintroduced flavors into the meat that wouldn't normally be there. So, should we do a big reveal? Wow, this is a beautiful knife. Please, please, please. That is a perfectly medium rare piece of meat. That juice is still flowing out. You take that. Now, oh, I can't wait. Get right in there, chef. Excellent. So, this here, pork belly, nothing else to add except for a little bit of water. So the fat in there that has been smoked, rendered out, gets a bit of color. We've got a little bit extra salt just so because we have reintroduced that bit of moisture to it. That there, it's going to be hot, mate. Let's just go fingers.
Oh, bloody hell.
Look at that. I mean, you can.
Honestly, I would cuddle up to that on like a cold winter's day.
Oh.
Bloody hell.
Falls apart.
That is,
Oh my god.
it's like eating butter.
Yeah.
Like, it's so tender and cheese.
So, I hated pork belly. I hated it because it was so fatty. And what we've done, essentially, we've rendered out most of the fat, but we've left the internal structure there, and then enough that when we regen it, you've got this beautiful creamy fat that is flavoursome as opposed to fatty fat.
The way you have to chew through the fat. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all that collagen, as soon as you throw it down, give you that nice buttery
Oh,
I get it. And obviously you get the flavour from the fat, from the rendering of it.
100%.
That is incredible. That is
Oh my God.
incredible. So I'm not going to leave today. I'm just going to stay here and just
I'll
nibble
feed you.
yeah.
at everything. Yeah. I've got to say thank you so much for letting us come up here and film. And it has
Cheers,
been
mate.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
I
And let's see your finger a sec.
Whoa.
was going to hear deeper.